Hello everyone and welcome back to English in Fluency, the place where we turn your English goals into reality. I am your host, Alex, and I am so incredibly happy to have you here with me today. Take a deep breath. Just let your shoulders drop and relax for a moment. Today we are going to talk about something very important. Something that almost every language learner feels but tries to hide. We are going to talk about fear. We are going to talk about that nervous feeling in your stomach when you have to speak English. But more importantly, we are going to discover how to build a calm, steady confidence that stays with you, no matter who you are talking to. If you have ever felt your heart beating fast before you speak, or if you have ever stayed silent because you were afraid of making a mistake, this episode is exactly for you. Before we dive deep into this journey of confidence, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you never miss a lesson that could change your life. And if you are ready to let go of fear, click the like button right now to show yourself that you are ready for a change. Let us begin by being honest about what fear feels like. When we speak a second language, fear is not just in our heads, it is in our bodies. Maybe your hands start to sweat a little bit. Maybe your throat feels tight, or your mind suddenly goes blank. You know the words. You studied them yesterday. You know exactly what you want to say, but the moment you open your mouth, the words disappear. This is a very common experience. It does not mean you are a bad student. It does not mean your English is bad. It simply means you are human. The first step to building calm confidence is to understand that this physical reaction is natural. Your brain is trying to protect you. It thinks that making a grammar mistake is dangerous, like a tiger chasing you. But we can teach your brain that speaking English is safe. We can teach your mind that it is okay to be imperfect. I want you to imagine a situation with me. Imagine a man named Daniel. Daniel is a smart, funny, and interesting person in his own language. But when Daniel tries to speak English, he changes. He becomes very serious. He tries to speak perfectly. He thinks about every verb tense and every preposition before he speaks. Because he is thinking so hard, he looks worried. When he speaks very quietly because he does not want anyone to hear if he makes a mistake. Daniel is trapping himself in a cage of perfectionism. Perfectionism is the enemy of fluency. When you try to be perfect, you create massive pressure. That pressure creates fear. Today, I want you to be like a different person. Let us imagine a woman named Elena. Elena makes mistakes. Sometimes she uses the wrong word. Sometimes she forgets how to say something. But Elena smiles. She breathes. If she gets stuck, she laughs and tries to explain it in a different way. Elena is not perfect, but she is free. She is calm. We want to be like Elena. To achieve this, we need to slow down. One of the biggest reasons we feel fear is that we try to speak at the same speed as native speakers. We think that fast English equals good English. But this is not true. Fast English often leads to mumbling and panic. Calm English equals good English. When you speak slowly, you give your brain time to find the words. You give your mouth time to form the sounds. Let us practice this right now. I want you to say a sentence with me, but I want you to say it very slowly, feeling every word. Listen to me first. I am calm and I have time. Now, you try it. Say it slowly. I am calm and I have time. Do you feel the difference? When you rush, your brain panics. When you slow down, you are telling your brain that you are in control. You are the driver of the car, and you can choose the speed. Let us go deeper into this idea of control. When you are in a conversation, you might feel like you have to answer immediately. If someone asks you a question, you feel a pressure to jump in with an answer in 1 second. If you wait too long, you think the other person will get bored or think you do not understand. But actually, silence is powerful. Confident speakers are not afraid of silence. If someone asks you a question, it is perfectly okay to take a breath before you answer. It is okay to say, "Let me think about that for a moment." This buys you time. It helps you relax. Next time you are in a conversation, try to take one small breath before you answer. That one small breath can stop the panic before it starts. Now, let's talk about the listener. Often, we are afraid because we think the other person is judging us. We imagine they are an English teacher holding a red pen, ready to mark our mistakes. But in the real world, most people are not judging your grammar. They are just trying to connect with you. They want to know what you think. They want to know your story. They are focusing on the message, not the mechanics. If you make a mistake, they usually correct it in their own head automatically and keep listening. They are on your side. They want the conversation to work. When you realize that the other person is a partner, not a judge, the fear starts to melt away. You are building a bridge between two people, and bridges do not have to be perfect to be useful. They just need to connect one side to the other. I want to share a technique that I call the spotlight shift. Usually, when we are nervous, the spotlight of our attention is on ourselves. We are thinking, how do I look? How do I sound? Is my accent okay? Did I use the present perfect correctly? This self-focus makes us anxious. The spotlight shift means you take that light and shine it on the other person. Instead of thinking about yourself, become intensely curious about them. Look at their face. Listen to the tone of their voice. Look at the color of their eyes. Ask yourself, what are they feeling right now? When you focus 100% on the other person, you have no brain space left to worry about yourself. Your fear disappears because you are too busy listening and connecting. It is a magical shift. Next time you feel nervous, stop looking inside. Look outside. Look at the person in front of you and really see them. Let us practice some calming affirmations. These are phrases you can say to yourself before you have to speak English. You can say them in your mind, or you can say them out loud when you are alone. Affirmations help to rewrite the story in your brain. Instead of the story that says, "I am bad at English," we will write a story that says, "I am a growing communicator." Listen to these phrases and repeat them after me. I allow myself to make mistakes. Mistakes are how I learn. My voice deserves to be heard. I focus on connection, not perfection. I am proud of my progress. Good. How does that feel? It is important to be kind to yourself. You are doing something difficult. You are learning a completely new way to describe the world. That is a brave thing to do. Be your own best friend, not your own worst critic. Another source of fear is the unknown. We are afraid because we do not know what topic will come up. We are afraid we will not have the vocabulary. To fix this, we can prepare for common situations, but we must also accept that we cannot prepare for everything. And that is okay. You have a superpower called circumlocution. That is a big word, but it means describing a word when you do not know the name of it. For example, imagine you forget the word for umbrella. You are standing in the rain, and you panic. but you don't need the word umbrella. You can say, the thing that protects you from rain. You can say, the rain shade. You can use your hands. You can describe it. Native speakers do this too. We forget words all the time. When we forget, we just describe it. If you embrace this skill, you never have to fear forgetting a word again, because you know you can always explain your meaning. You are flexible. You are adaptable. Let's talk about the physical aspect of speaking again. When we are nervous, our muscles get tight. Your jaw might lock up. Your shoulders might go up to your ears. This tension changes your voice. It makes it sound thin and shaky. Before you speak, or even during a conversation, do a quick body scan. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Feel your feet on the floor. When your body is grounded, your voice will sound deeper and more confident. A relaxed body leads to a relaxed mind. If you are on a phone call, try standing up and walking around. Moving your body can help burn off the nervous energy. If you are sitting, sit up straight, but keep your muscles soft. Smile. Even a fake smile changes the chemicals in your brain and tells you that you are safe. I remember a student of mine, let's call him Jonas. Jonas was terrified of speaking to his boss in English. He would write down everything he wanted to say on a piece of paper and read it. If the boss asked a question that was not on the paper, Jonas would freeze. He was paralyzed. We worked together on building his calm confidence. I told Jonas to stop writing scripts. Instead, I told him to write down 3 bullet points, just 3 main ideas. Then, he had to trust himself to find the words in the moment. The first time he did it, he was sweating. He was scared. He stumbled a bit, but he survived. His boss understood him. The second time, it was a little easier. The third time, he actually enjoyed the meeting. Jonas learned that the safety was not in the paper. The safety was in his ability to handle the situation, imperfections and all. You are like Jonas. You do not need a script for your life. You have the skills inside you right now. We often compare ourselves to others. You might hear someone else speaking English fluently and think, I will never be that good. But you are only seeing their result. You are not seeing their journey. You did not see the thousands of mistakes they made to get there. You did not see the times they felt stupid or embarrassed. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner who refused to give up. Your journey is your own. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. If you know one more word today than you did yesterday, you are winning. If you spoke for 1 minute longer today than last week, you are winning. Celebration builds confidence. Fear feeds on criticism. So, celebrate every small victory. Did you order coffee in English? Celebrate it. Did you understand a joke in a movie? Celebrate it. These small bricks build the house of your fluency. Let's do a listening simulation. I want you to imagine you are at a party. There is a lot of noise in the background. Someone approaches you. It is a friendly stranger. They smile and say, Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Sarah. How do you know the host? In this moment, your heart might jump. But remember our techniques. First, breathe. Second, smile back. The smile connects you. Third, keep it simple. You don't need a complex grammar structure. You can simply say, Hi Sarah, I am Alex. I work with the host. That is perfect. It is clear. It is calm. Then shift the spotlight. Ask her, How about you? How do you know him? Now the pressure is off you. You are listening. You are safe. Visualizing success like this is very important. Athletes visualize winning the race before they run. You should visualize having calm, successful conversations. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. See yourself speaking. See yourself laughing. See yourself feeling comfortable. This mental practice prepares your brain for reality. There is also a concept called the imposter syndrome. This is when you feel like a fake. You feel like you are pretending to speak English, and soon everyone will find out you are not good enough. Even very advanced speakers feel this. The cure for imposter syndrome is action. It is doing the thing you are afraid of. Every time you speak, and nothing bad happens, you chip away at that fear. You prove to yourself that you belong here. You belong in the English-speaking world. You have a right to take up space. You have a right to use the language. Do not apologize for your English. Never say, "Sorry, my English is bad." This puts you in a low position. Instead, say, "Thank you for being patient with me." This puts you in a position of gratitude and strength. It changes the dynamic of the conversation completely. Let's talk about the speed of your thoughts versus the speed of your mouth. Sometimes your mind is racing. You have 5 different ideas you want to express at once, but your mouth can only say one word at a time. This traffic jam causes stuttering and confusion. You need to become a traffic policeman in your head. Stop the traffic. Let one car go through. Pick one idea. Finish that sentence. Then let the next idea come. Do not try to say everything at once. Simple sentences are strong sentences. I agree with you. That is a good point. I think we should do this. These are short, punchy, and confident. You do not need long, winding sentences with 3 clauses to sound intelligent. Clarity is the highest form of intelligence. If people understand you easily, they will think you are a good speaker. I want to address the fear of accents. Many students hate their accent. They think it sounds heavy or ugly. They try to force a British or American accent, and it feels unnatural. Here is the truth. Your accent is part of your identity. It tells the story of where you come from. As long as your pronunciation is clear enough to be understood, your accent is not a problem. In fact, many native speakers find foreign accents charming or interesting. Do not let your accent stop you from speaking. Work on clarity, yes. Work on the sounds that are difficult, yes. But do not try to erase who you are. Own your voice. Speak with your natural rhythm. When you accept your voice, you relax. And when you relax, your accent actually becomes easier to understand because you are not forcing your mouth into strange shapes. We are building a habit of courage. Courage is like a muscle. If you do not use it, it gets weak. If you use it every day, it gets strong. How can you exercise your courage muscle? You can start small. You do not have to give a speech to 1,000 people tomorrow. Start by reading a paragraph out loud to yourself. Then, record your voice on your phone and listen to it. It might be uncomfortable at first, but get used to the sound of your own English. Then, send a voice message to a friend instead of a text. Then, make a short phone call. Step by step, you are expanding your comfort zone. A comfort zone is like a rubber band. If you stretch it gently, it gets bigger. If you pull it too hard, it snaps. We want to stretch gently. What is one small thing you can do today that scares you just a little bit? Maybe it is leaving a comment in English on this video. Maybe it is asking a stranger for the time. Do that one small thing. Then pat yourself on the back. Consistency is key in this process. You cannot build confidence in one day. It is a daily practice. It is waking up every morning and choosing to be brave. Some days will be harder than others. Some days you will feel like you went backward. That is normal. Progress is not a straight line. It is a squiggly line that goes up and down, but generally moves forward. On the bad days, be extra kind to yourself. Remind yourself why you are learning. Is it for a better job? Is it to travel? Is it to make friends? Connect with your why. Your purpose is stronger than your fear. When the fear feels big, make your purpose bigger. Visualize the end result. See yourself traveling the world, speaking effortlessly. Hold on to that image when things get tough. Let us return to the breath, because it is your most immediate tool. When you are in a high-pressure situation, like a job interview or an exam, your breathing becomes shallow. You breathe only in the top part of your chest. This sends a signal to your brain that says, danger. To switch this off, you need to breathe into your belly. Put your hand on your stomach right now. Inhale deeply through your nose and try to push your hand out with your stomach. Feel it expand. Now exhale slowly through your mouth. Do this 3 times. This is called diaphragmatic breathing. It physically forces your nervous system to calm down. You cannot be in a state of panic and breathe deeply at the same time. It is impossible. So, if you control your breath, you control your fear. Use this tool. It is free, and nobody even needs to know you are doing it. Now, I want to talk about the power of I don't know. Many students are terrified of being asked a question they don't know the answer to. They think they have to know everything. But even native speakers say, I don't know, all the time. It is a confident answer. If you don't know the answer, or if you didn't understand the question, just say it. I'm not sure about that. Could you explain that again? I didn't catch that last part. These phrases show that you are engaged and honest. Pretending to understand when you don't is what causes anxiety, because you are terrified of being caught. When you are honest, you have nothing to hide. And when you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Be honest about your level. Be honest about your understanding. It is incredibly liberating. Let's imagine another scenario. You are at a restaurant with a group of English speakers. Everyone is laughing and talking fast. You feel left out. You want to say something, but by the time you form the sentence, the topic has changed. You start to feel small and invisible. This is a classic freeze moment. In this situation, do not aim for the big story. Do not try to be the center of attention. Aim for small interactions. Just turn to the person next to you and make a small comment. The food is good, isn't it? I like this music. Start with one-on-one connections. It is much less scary than addressing the whole group. Once you feel comfortable with one person, your confidence will grow, and you might feel ready to speak to the group. But if you stay silent the whole time, the fear grows darker and heavier. Break the silence early, even with just a yes or no or a smile. Think about the environment you create for yourself. Do you surround yourself with English that makes you feel good, or English that stresses you out? If you are watching the news and it makes you anxious because they speak too fast, stop watching the news. Watch a cartoon. Watch a cooking show. Listen to a podcast like this one, where the host speaks clearly. You need to create a safe harbor for your English. A place where you feel competent. When you spend time in your safe harbor, your battery recharges. Then you can go out into the rough ocean of the real world for a little while, and when you get tired, come back to the harbor. Do not force yourself to struggle 100% of the time. Learning should be joyful, not painful. If it hurts, change your method. Find materials that make you smile, that make you interested, that make you forget you are studying. I want to leave you with a thought about your future self. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. This future version of you is fluent, calm, and confident. They are looking back at you right now. They are looking at you with so much love and pride. They see how hard you are trying. They see your fear, and they are telling you, keep going. It is worth it. You are building that person every single day. Every time you open your mouth to speak, despite the fear, you are becoming that future self. Trust the process. Trust that your brain is learning, even when you don't feel it. Trust that your efforts are adding up. You are not just learning a language. You are learning how to be bold. You are learning how to express your soul to the world. And the world needs your voice. We need to hear what you have to say. As we continue this deep dive into building unshakable confidence, I want to encourage you to keep breathing. We are going to transition now to some very specific situations that often cause panic, and we are going to dismantle that panic piece by piece. Let us talk about one of the scariest situations for many English learners, the telephone. I hear this from my students all the time. They say, "Alex, I can talk to people face to face because I can see their hands and their smiles, but the phone terrifies me." This is a very valid fear. When you are on the phone, you lose 50% of communication, which is body language. You are relying 100% on your ears. But here is the secret to conquering phone fear. You must create the visuals yourself. When you are on the phone, close your eyes and imagine the person is standing right in front of you. Visualize them smiling. Visualize them nodding their head. By creating this mental image, you trick your brain into feeling the safety of a face-to-face conversation. Also, do not be afraid to control the technology. If the connection is bad, say so immediately. "I am sorry. The line is breaking up. Can you repeat that?" This is not a failure of your English. It is a technical reality. Taking control of the environment shows confidence. Now, let us move to the concept of active listening. Often, fear comes from the feeling that we are passive victims in a conversation, just waiting for words to hit us like rocks. Active listening changes this dynamic. Instead of just waiting to hear, you participate with your body and your voice. Use small words to show you are following. In English, we use words like "really," "wow," "I see," "uh-huh," and "right." These are called back-channeling sounds. When you use these, you are telling the speaker, "I am with you. I understand." It makes the speaker feel good, and it keeps you engaged. Let's practice this. Imagine I am telling you a story. I say, "Yesterday, I went to the store and I saw a huge dog." You say, "Really?" Then I say, "Yes, it was bigger than a small horse." You say, "Wow." Then I say, "But it was actually very friendly." You say, "That's good." Do you see how easy that is? You are having a conversation, but you are only using 1 or 2 words. This takes the pressure off you to make long sentences, but you are still a vital part of the interaction. A major block to confidence is the fear of being rude. You might want to ask a question or interrupt because you didn't understand, but you stay silent because you don't want to offend anyone. In many cultures, interrupting is seen as very impolite. In English-speaking cultures, especially in fast-paced environments, polite interruption is a necessary skill. You just need the right phrases. You can imagine these phrases are like keys that gently open a door. Phrases like, "Sorry to interrupt, but," or "Can I just clarify something?" or "Before we move on, I have a question." These phrases signal that you respect the speaker, but you need to pause the flow. Practice saying them with a gentle tone. If your tone is soft and your face is open, you will not be rude. You will be seen as assertive and interested. Let go of the fear of offending people. Most people would prefer you interrupt them to get clarity rather than letting them talk for 5 minutes while you understand nothing. Let's discuss the grammar police in your head. This is that little voice that whispers, "You forgot the "as" on the third person singular," or "You used "in" instead of "on." This voice is destructive. I want you to understand a concept called communicative competence. This means, did the message get from your brain to their brain? If the answer is yes, you succeeded. If you say, "Yesterday I go to the bank," that is grammatically incorrect. It should be "went." But does the listener understand you? Yes. They know you are talking about the past because you said "yesterday." So, the communication was successful. The grammar was not perfect, but the connection was made. When you are speaking, focus on the message, not the grammar. Grammar is something you study when you are writing or doing exercises. Speaking is a flow state. It is like jazz music. If you hit a wrong note, just keep playing. The rhythm is more important than the individual note. I want to introduce you to a technique called shadowing. You might have heard of this, but I want to explain how to use it specifically for confidence. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and repeat exactly what they say, almost at the same time. It helps you get used to the rhythm and melody of English. But for confidence, I want you to do emotion shadowing. Do not just copy the words. Copy the emotion. If the speaker sounds excited, you sound excited. If they sound serious, you sound serious. This helps you try on a confident English personality. It is like acting. When you act confident, eventually you become confident. Let's try a small simulation. I will say a sentence with strong emotion. I want you to repeat it with the exact same feeling. Ready? Here is the sentence. I am absolutely sure that we can do this. Now you say it. Put power in your voice. I am absolutely sure that we can do this. Feel that? You are borrowing my confidence. Do this with podcasts, with movies, with news anchors. Mimic their strength until it becomes your own. We must also talk about the plateau. This is a time in your learning when you feel like you are not improving. You study every day, but you feel the same. This is very dangerous for confidence because you start to think, maybe I have reached my limit. Maybe I am not smart enough. I want to tell you that the plateau is an illusion. When you are a beginner, progress is fast. You learn cat, dog, house, and you feel like a genius. When you are at an intermediate level, like B1 or B2, the progress is invisible. You are learning nuance. You are strengthening neural pathways. You are improving your intuition. Just because you cannot see the flower growing does not mean the roots are not getting deeper. Trust the plateau. It is actually a time of consolidation. Your brain is organizing all the information. Do not let a lack of visible progress kill your confidence. You are moving forward, I promise you. Let's address the fear of connected speech. This is why native speakers sound so fast. We do not pronounce every word separately. We smash them together. Do you want to go? Becomes, do you want to go? I am going to becomes, I'm gonna. When you expect to hear separate words, you panic because you hear a stream of sound. To build confidence here, you need to learn these links. Treat gonna and wanna and dunno as vocabulary words. When you know them, you will hear them. And when you hear them, you will not panic. You can also use them. Using connected speech makes your English flow better. It is physically easier for your mouth. Try saying, "What are you doing?" very clearly. What are you doing? It takes effort. Now say, "What you doing?" It is lazy, but it is smooth. Relaxing your mouth into these shapes helps you relax your mind. You don't have to be formal all the time. Casual English is confident English. Another great tool is the summary strategy. Sometimes we get lost in a conversation. The other person has been talking for 2 minutes, and we lost the thread halfway through. Panic sets in. You think, "Oh no, I have no idea what they are saying." Instead of freezing, wait for them to pause and use the summary strategy. Say, "So, just to make sure I understand, you are saying that," and then summarize the one thing you did catch. Or even be honest. "I am loving this story, but I got a little lost at the part about the car. Can we go back there?" This shows you are listening intensely, not that you are bad at English. It shows you care about the details. People love it when you ask them to clarify because it makes them feel important. You are turning a moment of failure into a moment of connection. Let's talk about your English persona. Many people feel like they are a different person in English. In your native language, maybe you are funny and loud. In English, you feel shy and quiet. This gap creates anxiety because you feel inauthentic. You feel like you are losing yourself. I want to encourage you to build a specific English persona. Who is the English-speaking you? Maybe English Alex is a bit more thoughtful. Maybe he listens more. Maybe he is more direct. It is okay if your personality shifts a little. It is a natural part of being bilingual. Do not fight it. Embrace this new version of yourself. You are not losing your identity. You are expanding it. You are becoming a multifaceted diamond. One side shines in your native language, and another side shines in English. Both are beautiful. Both are you. Visualization is not just for before the conversation. You can use it to rewrite bad memories. We all have the trauma. The time you made a huge mistake in class and everyone laughed. The time you couldn't answer the tourist in the street. These memories haunt us. They pop up right before we speak to say, "Remember? You are bad at this." I want you to do a rewriting exercise. Close your eyes and go back to that memory. Go back to the moment you made the mistake. But this time, imagine it differently. Imagine you laughed. Imagine you shrugged your shoulders and said, "Whoops, I need more coffee today." Imagine the other person smiled with you. Rewrite the ending of the movie in your head. By doing this, you take the power away from the bad memory. You neutralize the poison. The past does not control you unless you let it. You are the director of your own mind. Let's discuss the importance of small talk. Many students hate small talk. They want to have deep philosophical conversations, but they find talking about the weather boring and difficult. But small talk is the gateway to big talk. It is the warm-up. It is how we check if the other person is friendly. Mastering small talk builds massive confidence because it is predictable. The questions are always the same. How are you? Nice weather today. What do you do? How was your weekend? You can prepare scripts for these. Prepare 3 answers for how was your weekend? Prepare a funny story about the weather. When you have these answers ready in your pocket, you can enter any conversation easily. You breeze through the first 2 minutes, and once you are through the first 2 minutes, your nerves settle down and you can flow into deeper topics naturally. Do not skip the small talk. Respect it as the foundation of social confidence. Now, consider the physical environment. Where do you practice English? Is it a messy desk with bad lighting? Is it a noisy bus? Your environment affects your mood. If you can, create a confidence corner in your house, a specific chair, or a specific spot where you practice English. Make it comfortable. Maybe put a picture of something that inspires you nearby. When you sit in that chair, your brain knows, okay, this is where we feel good about English. Anchoring a feeling to a physical space is a powerful psychological trick. If you are learning on the go, use headphones that block out noise. Create a bubble of focus. When you protect your learning space, you protect your confidence. We often forget to breathe while listening. We concentrate so hard on the incoming words that we hold our breath. When you hold your breath, your brain gets less oxygen. When your brain gets less oxygen, it cannot process language well. It is a vicious cycle. I want you to practice listening with your lungs. Next time you are watching a movie or listening to a podcast, focus consciously on inhaling and exhaling while the audio plays. Tell yourself, I can listen and breathe at the same time. It sounds silly, but try it. You will find that when your breath is flowing, your understanding improves. The words seem to slow down. You are not fighting the language. You are flowing with it. Let's talk about vocabulary anxiety. This is the fear that you will not have the precise word for something. You want to say magnificent, but you can only remember good. You feel disappointed. You feel like a child. Listen to me. Simple words are powerful. Winston Churchill, one of the greatest speakers in history, used very simple English. Never give up. Blood, toil, tears, and sweat. These are not complicated words. They are short, old, strong words. Do not underestimate the power of good, bad, happy, sad. If you use them with conviction, they are enough. Do not pause your speech for 10 seconds searching for magnificent. Just say, very good, and keep moving. The flow is more important than the fancy vocabulary. As you read more, the fancy words will come naturally. But do not let the lack of them stop you from speaking today. We should also talk about the comparison trap with other learners. Sometimes you are in a class or a group, and there is that one student who seems to know everything. Their accent is perfect. They speak fast. You look at them and you shrink. You feel small. But remember, you do not know their background. Maybe they lived in the US for a year. Maybe their parents speak English. Maybe they have been studying for 10 years, while you have been studying for 2. Comparing your Chapter 5 to someone else's Chapter 20 is unfair. It is self-sabotage. Instead of feeling jealous, feel curious. Ask them, how did you get so good? What is your secret? Turn them into a teacher, not a rival. When you celebrate others' success, you create a positive energy that helps you too. We are all on the same team, the team of people trying to understand each other. Let's go deeper into the why. Why do you feel fear? Deeply? Usually it is because we care. You care about making a good impression. You care about being respected. That is a good thing. It means you are not indifferent. It means you have standards. So, thank your fear. Say to it, "Thank you, fear, for showing me that this is important to me. But I can take it from here." Transform that nervous energy into excitement. Physiologically, fear and excitement are almost the same. Rapid heartbeat, sweating, high energy. The only difference is the story you tell your brain. Instead of saying, "I am so nervous," say, "I am so excited to speak. I am excited to practice. I am excited to meet this person." Fake it until you make it. If you tell your brain you are excited enough times, eventually, it will believe you. I want to share a story about a woman named Maria. Maria loved singing, but she only sang in the shower. She was terrified of singing in front of people because she thought her voice wasn't perfect. One day, her friends dragged her to a karaoke night. She was shaking. She chose a simple song. She stood on stage, closed her eyes, and just focused on the music. She didn't sing perfectly. She missed a few notes, but she sang with her heart. And do you know what happened? People cheered. They didn't cheer for her technique. They cheered for her bravery. They cheered for her joy. Speaking English is like karaoke. You don't have to be a professional opera singer. You just have to pick up the microphone and have fun. The audience wants you to succeed. They are waiting for you to share your voice. Be like Maria. Close your eyes. Feel the rhythm. And just let it out. There is a technique called the 3-second rule. When you have an opportunity to speak, maybe you see a tourist looking at a map, or you want to ask a question in a meeting, you have a window of about 3 seconds before your brain starts making excuses. Oh, maybe they are busy. Maybe I will make a mistake. Maybe I should wait. If you wait longer than 3 seconds, the fear wins. The rule is, once you have the impulse to speak, you must take action within 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, go. "Excuse me, do you need help? I have a question." Do not give your doubt time to grow. Action kills fear. Hesitation breeds fear. Practice this in small ways. If you see a beautiful flower, say "beautiful" out loud within 3 seconds. If you see a bus coming, say "bus" within 3 seconds. Train your brain to bypass the hesitation filter. Let's think about the concept of fluency itself. What does it actually mean? Many people think fluency means knowing every word in the dictionary and never making a mistake. That is not fluency. That is a computer. Fluency is like water. Water flows. If there is a rock in the river, the water goes around it. It doesn't stop. It doesn't apologize. It just finds a new way. If you forget a word, you go around it. If you make a mistake, you keep flowing. That is true fluency. It is the ability to keep the conversation going no matter what happens. You are already fluent in your thoughts. You just need to let your English flow like water. Be fluid. Be flexible. Be unstoppable. Humor is a great weapon against fear. If you make a mistake, laugh. If you say something funny by accident, laugh with the other person. Laughter releases dopamine. It relaxes your muscles. It bonds you with the listener. If you take yourself too seriously, every mistake feels like a tragedy. If you can laugh at yourself, every mistake becomes a funny story. "Oh, wow, I just said I want to eat a chair instead of a pear. That would be a very hard dinner." When you laugh, you show that you are confident enough to handle imperfection. You show that you are human. And people love humans. They don't love robots. So, bring your sense of humor into your English. It is the best safety net you can have. I want you to think about the people who inspire you. Maybe it is a celebrity, a teacher, or a friend. How do they speak? Do they speak fast? Maybe. But usually, the most inspiring speakers are the ones who are authentic. They look you in the eye. They speak from the heart. You have that capacity too. You don't need to be them. You need to be the best version of you. Your unique perspective, your unique life history, your unique ideas, these are gifts. When you speak English, you are sharing these gifts. Do not keep them inside the box just because the wrapping paper, your grammar, is not perfect. The gift inside is what matters. Tear open the paper and give the gift. As we move forward in this lesson, I want you to start paying attention to your inner monologue. That is the voice that talks to you all day long. Is it speaking in your native language or in English? To build confidence, try to switch that voice to English for just 5 minutes a day. Narrate your life. I am making coffee. The water is hot. The spoon is silver. Doing this in private builds the neural connections you need for public speaking. It is low-stakes practice. Nobody is listening. You can make mistakes and correct them instantly. This thinking in English practice bridges the gap between your brain and your mouth. It makes the language feel like it belongs to you, not like something you are borrowing from a textbook. Let us start with a concept I call the detective mindset. Often, when we listen to English, specifically fast English, we try to catch every single word. We want to hear a, the, in, at, and every auxiliary verb. When we miss one small word, we panic. We think, oh no, I missed something. Now I will not understand the sentence. But think about a detective. A detective does not need to see the crime happen to solve it. They look for clues. In English, the clues are the content words. Nouns, verbs, adjectives. These are the words that carry the meaning. Dog, run, park, happy. If you hear these 4 words, you know the story. A happy dog ran in the park. You did not need to hear the, or was, or in the. To build calm confidence, stop trying to be a transcription machine. Be a detective. Listen for the big words. Let the small grammar words float by like leaves on a river. If you catch the big words, your brain will fill in the gaps automatically. Trust your brain's ability to connect the dots. Now, let's discuss prediction. Your brain is a prediction engine. It loves to guess what is coming next. We can use this to reduce fear. Before you enter a situation, prime your brain. If you are going to a coffee shop, what words are you likely to hear? Size, milk, sugar, payment, card, cash. If you activate these words in your mind before you walk in the door, you will hear them much more easily. It is like tuning a radio. If you tune your brain to the frequency of coffee shop English, the static disappears. If you are watching a movie about doctors, tune your brain to medical English. Expect to hear hospital, emergency, doctor, and nurse. When you predict the context, you are not surprised. And when you are not surprised, you are not scared. We need to talk about the repair strategy. No matter how good you are, there will be times when you simply do not understand. Maybe the person mumbled. Maybe a truck drove by. Maybe they used a slang word you have never heard. The fearful speaker freezes and pretends to understand, nodding their head while panic grows inside. The confident speaker repairs the breakdown. You need a toolkit of phrases for this. Do not just say, what or huh. These can sound a bit rude. Instead, say, I am sorry, I missed that last part. Could you say that a little more slowly? Did you say, 50 or 15? Notice how specific these questions are. When you ask a specific question, it shows you were listening. It shows you are engaged. It turns a failure into a collaboration. You and the speaker are working together to fix the broken bridge. There is no shame in asking for clarification. In fact, it is a sign of high intelligence and confidence. Let's move to the dynamic of group conversations. This is the boss level for many students. Speaking one-on-one is okay, but speaking in a group of 3 or 4 native speakers is terrifying. It feels like a tennis match where the ball is moving too fast and you don't have a racket. Everyone interrupts each other, they laugh at inside jokes, and you sit there silently, feeling smaller and smaller. Here is the strategy. Do not try to lead the conversation. Just try to touch the ball. You don't need to hit a winning shot. You just need to tap it. A tap can be a nonverbal sound like a laugh or a nod. It can be repeating the last word someone said with an agreeing tone. Yeah, totally. Exactly. By making these small contributions, you stay active in the group's mind. They see you as part of the circle. If you stay completely silent and look down, the circle physically closes you out. Keep your head up. Look at the person speaking. Use your face to show reaction. Even if you don't say a full sentence for 10 minutes, if your body language is active, you are part of the conversation. Now, I want to address the fear of idioms. You know these. It's raining cats and dogs. Break a leg. Piece of cake. When you hear these, your logical brain tries to translate them literally. You think about falling animals or broken bones, and you get confused. This confusion leads to fear. Here is the rule. If a sentence makes absolutely no sense literally, it is an idiom. Stop trying to visualize the literal meaning. Instead, look at the emotion and the context. If someone says, "I am over the moon," and they have a huge smile, it means they are happy. You don't need to know why they are over a moon. You just need to read the emotion. Context is king. Do not get stuck on the weird words. Zoom out and look at the big picture. And if you are brave, ask. That is a funny phrase. What does it mean? Native speakers love explaining their idioms. It makes them feel smart and cultural. Give them that chance. Let's talk about energy management. Speaking a foreign language requires a huge amount of cognitive energy. It burns glucose in your brain. That is why you feel exhausted after an hour of English class. This is called language fatigue. Sometimes your fear is actually just tiredness. When your brain is tired, it cannot process well, and you start to make mistakes. Then you get frustrated. Then you get scared. Recognize this cycle. If you are feeling overwhelmed, check your energy. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Have you been concentrating for too long? It is okay to take a break. It is okay to say, "My English brain is a little tired today." Give yourself permission to rest. You don't run a marathon every day. Sometimes you just walk. Respect your biological limits. I want to introduce you to the concept of the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. A fixed mindset says, "I am not good at languages. I will never learn. This is too hard." A growth mindset says, "I am not good at this yet. With practice, I can get better. Challenges help me grow." When you feel fear, it is usually the fixed mindset talking. It is telling you that your current level is your permanent level. You need to argue with this voice. Tell it, "I am a learner. Learners change. Learners evolve." Every mistake is data. It is information that tells you what to study next. If you use the wrong verb tense, that is not a failure. It is a signal. Ah, I need to review past tense. Thank the mistake for the information and move on. Shift your perspective from testing to training. You are not taking a test every time you speak. You are training in the gym. And in the gym, we sweat. Let's go back to the physical aspect. Your eyes. Eye contact is very powerful. When we are nervous, we look down. We look at our shoes. We look at the exit. This signals submission and fear. It makes the other person feel uncomfortable. Practice holding eye contact. You don't have to stare like a robot, but try to look at their eyes for a few seconds, then look away, then look back. Eye contact creates a chemical connection called oxytocin. It builds trust. When you look someone in the eye, you are saying, "I am here with you. I am not hiding." It also helps you hear better. Seeing the mouth move and the eyes express emotion gives you extra data to understand the words. If eye contact is too scary, look at the space right between their eyebrows. They cannot tell the difference, but it feels safer for you. We often fear silence because we think we need to be interesting. We think we need to entertain the other person. But actually, people love to talk about themselves. If you are stuck and don't know what to say, use the one-question strategy. Who, what, where, when, why? Ask the other person a question about themselves. Where did you grow up? What do you do for fun? Why did you choose that job? Then, just listen. You can rest while they talk. You are being a great conversationalist by being a great listener. You are taking the spotlight off yourself and shining it on them. This relieves all your performance anxiety. You don't have to perform. You just have to be curious. Curiosity is the cure for anxiety. You cannot be curious and scared at the same time. Choose curiosity. Let's discuss the good enough principle. In school, 50% is a fail. In language learning, 50% is a pass. If you understand 50% of what someone says, you can probably follow the conversation. If you can express 50% of your complex thoughts, you can make yourself understood. Let go of the need for 100%. 100% is a myth. Even native speakers misunderstand each other. Even native speakers slur their words. Embrace the good enough. Did you get the coffee you ordered? Good enough. Did you find the train station? Good enough. Did you make your friend laugh? Good enough. When you lower the bar from perfect to effective, the fear vanishes. You realize you are already succeeding much more than you thought. There is a powerful tool called reframing nervousness. When your hands shake and your heart beats fast, your body is preparing for action. It is flooding you with adrenaline. You interpret this as fear. But professional athletes and performers feel the exact same sensations. They interpret it as readiness. They think, my body is getting ready to perform. My body is giving me energy. Next time you feel those symptoms, don't say, I am scared. Say, my body is waking up. My body is getting ready to speak English. Use that energy. Speak a little louder. Use more hand gestures. Channel the adrenaline into enthusiasm. Do not try to suppress it. Ride the wave. Let's talk about the echo method. This is for when you are listening and you lose focus. Repeat the last few words the person said in your head. If they say, I am going to the cinema tonight, echo in your mind, cinema tonight. This keeps your brain tethered to the conversation. It prevents your mind from wandering off into worry. It also helps with memory. If you repeat it, you are more likely to remember it later. It is a simple mental hook to keep you present. Presence is the opposite of fear. Fear lives in the future. What if I make a mistake? Or the past. I made a mistake yesterday. Presence lives in the now. The echo method keeps you in the now. Consider the language parent. This is a concept from linguistics. When a baby learns to speak, the parents do not correct every grammar mistake. They smile. They encourage. They focus on the meaning. Water. Oh, you want water? Here is the water. You need to find a language parent in your life. This could be a tutor, a language exchange partner, or a patient friend. Someone who makes you feel safe. Someone who focuses on your message, not your mistakes. Spend time with this person. Let them nurture your confidence. If you don't have a person, be that person for yourself. Be a kind parent to your own inner learner. Speak to yourself with gentleness. Let's talk about journaling. Writing is essentially speaking in slow motion. When you speak, you have milliseconds to choose a word. When you write, you have minutes. This relieves the time pressure. Start a daily journal in English. It does not have to be deep. Today I ate a sandwich. It was good. I walked the dog. Writing helps you find the holes in your vocabulary. You realize, oh, I don't know the word for leash. Then you look it up. You learn it. The next time you speak, that word is ready. Writing builds the bridge between passive knowledge, what you understand, and active knowledge, what you can use. It solidifies the language in your mind, so it is there when you need it under pressure. We must also address the fear of cultural mistakes. You might worry about saying the wrong thing and offending a different culture. This is a sign of respect, which is good. But remember, people are generally forgiving towards foreigners. If you are polite, if you smile, if your intention is good, people will overlook small cultural errors. You can also use disclaimers. You can say, in my culture, we do this. Is it the same here? This opens a conversation about culture instead of making a mistake. It shows you are culturally aware. Being interested in the differences is better than being afraid of them. Now, let's do a visualization about the worst-case scenario. What is the absolute worst thing that can happen? You say the wrong word. The person looks confused. You try again. They still don't understand. You use Google Translate. You both laugh. That is the worst case. You will not die. You will not go to jail. The sky will not fall. The stakes are actually very low. We make them high in our heads, but in reality, they are low. Realizing that the worst-case scenario is actually just a slightly awkward moment can be very liberating. You can survive awkwardness. You have survived it before. You are strong enough to handle a few seconds of silence or confusion. Let's talk about the video vlog technique. This is for your eyes only. Turn on your phone camera and talk to it for 1 minute a day. Talk about your plans. Talk about your feelings. Then, watch it. The first time, you will hate it. You will hate your voice. You will hate your face. This is normal. Do it again. And again. After video number 10, you will stop criticizing and start analyzing. You will see, oh, I speak better than I thought. Or, I need to open my mouth more. You become objective. You stop being emotional about your English and start being practical. This is a massive confidence booster because you are confronting the reality of your speaking, and you will find that the reality is not as bad as your fear. I want to talk about the power of preparation. If you have a specific event coming up, Like a doctor's appointment or a meeting, script it. Write down what you want to say. Write down the questions they might ask. Practice the answers. Role play with yourself. Preparation is the antidote to panic. If you walk in knowing exactly what you want to say, you start strong. And a strong start usually leads to a strong finish. You don't have to script your whole life. But for stressful events, a script is a shield. It protects you until you feel comfortable enough to drop it. Let's discuss the 80-20 rule of vocabulary. 20% of the words are used 80% of the time. You don't need to know 100,000 words to be fluent. You need to master the core 2,000 or 3,000 words. Focus on these high-frequency words. Master the verbs get, take, make, do, have. These verbs are used in thousands of ways. If you master the basics, you can handle almost any situation. Don't waste your brain space memorizing the names of rare flowers or obscure scientific tools unless you are a gardener or a scientist. Focus on the words that people actually use every day. Knowing that you have mastered the core gives you a solid foundation to stand on. Another technique is the pause. We talked about silence, but the pause is an active tool. Before you start a sentence, pause. Gather your thoughts. In the middle of a sentence, if you get stuck, pause. Don't say, or, oh. Just be silent. A silent pause sounds intelligent. An sounds uncertain. Train yourself to just close your mouth when you are thinking. It makes you look thoughtful and controlled. It gives your listener time to process what you said. It slows down the rhythm. Silence is a canvas. You don't have to cover every inch of it with paint. Let's talk about celebrity mimicry again, but specifically for intonation. English is a musical language. It goes up and down. Some languages are very flat. If you speak English with a flat tone, you might sound bored or angry, even if you are not. And if you feel like you aren't expressing your emotion, you feel disconnected. Pick an actor or a YouTuber whose voice you like. Copy their music. When do they go up? When do they go down? Exaggerate it. Feel like an actor on a stage. When you get the music right, the words flow easier. The melody carries the grammar. It is easier to sing a song than to memorize a speech. Turn your English into a song. We need to address the comparison with native speakers. This is the ultimate trap. You are comparing yourself to someone who has spoken the language for 30, 40, 50 years. Someone who was born in it. It is like comparing someone who just started learning piano to Mozart. It is not a fair comparison. Compare yourself to other learners. Or better yet, compare yourself to yourself last year. Respect the native speaker, learn from them, but do not try to be them. You are a bilingual or trilingual person. That is a different category. You have a different brain structure. You have different advantages. Own your status as a bilingual. It is a superpower, not a deficit. Let's think about the spiral of learning. Sometimes you feel like you are learning the same thing over and over. I already learned the present perfect. Why do I have to learn it again? Because learning is a spiral. You come back to the same point, but at a deeper level. The first time, you learn the form. The second time, you learn the meaning. The third time, you learn the nuance. The fourth time, you learned how to use it in a joke. Don't get frustrated by repetition. Repetition is how the brain wires itself. Embrace the review. It is polishing the stone. Every time you review, the stone gets smoother and shinier. I want to share a secret. Most native speakers are not grammar experts. If you ask a random person on the street to explain the second conditional, they probably cannot do it. They just know what sounds right. So do not be afraid that they are analyzing your grammar trees. They are not. They are listening to your story. They are listening to your ideas. If you have a good idea, nobody cares about your preposition. Focus on having good ideas. Focus on being a kind person. Focus on being interesting. These qualities shine brighter than perfect grammar. Let's talk about the smile. It sounds so simple, almost childish. But a smile is a biological signal of safety. When you smile, you tell your own brain, I am safe. You tell the listener, I am a friend. It relaxes the muscles in your face, which actually helps with pronunciation. It makes your voice sound warmer. If you are on the phone, smile. The person can hear the smile in your voice. It is the easiest, fastest way to improve your communication. If you are terrified, fake a smile. Your body will eventually catch up to your face. As we move towards the final phase of our journey, I want you to reflect on the toolbox we are building. You have tools for your body, like breathing and posture. You have tools for your mind, like reframing and affirmations. You have tools for social situations, like repair strategies and small talk. You have tools for listening, like the detective mindset and prediction. You are not defenseless anymore. You are armed with knowledge. The fear comes from feeling helpless. You are not helpless. You are powerful. You are prepared. We are going to take all these tools and weave them into a plan for your future. We are going to talk about how to make this confidence last forever, not just for today. We are going to talk about resilience, about community, and about the beautiful future that is waiting for you. We need to talk about the difference between intensity and consistency. Many students get a burst of motivation and study for 5 hours in one day. Then, they do nothing for 2 weeks. This is the crash and burn method. It destroys confidence because you feel guilty during the break. True confidence comes from consistency. It comes from showing up for 10 minutes every single day, no matter what. It is better to practice speaking for 5 minutes every morning while you drink your coffee than to practice for 2 hours once a month. Small habits build big results. Think of confidence like a garden. You cannot water it once with a giant hose and expect it to survive. You must water it a little bit every day. Establish a minimum viable habit. Ask yourself, what is the smallest amount of English practice I can do even on my worst day? Maybe it is listening to one song. Maybe it is writing one sentence. Commit to that small thing. When you keep a promise to yourself every day, your trust in yourself grows. And trust is the foundation of confidence. Let's discuss the inevitable bad English day. It will happen. You will have days where your brain feels like fog. You will forget simple words. You will stutter. You will feel like you have forgotten everything you ever learned. When this happens, do not panic. Do not quit. This is a normal part of the biorhythm of learning. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you are stressed about work. Maybe your brain is just reorganizing information. When you have a bad day, treat yourself with extra kindness. Say, today is a rest day for my English brain. I will just listen. I will not force myself to speak. Do not judge your overall ability based on one bad day. If you trip while walking, you don't lie on the ground forever. You get up and keep walking. You don't say, I am bad at walking. You just say, I tripped. Treat your language mistakes the same way. They are just a momentary trip, not a permanent fall. We must also talk about the power of community. Learning a language can feel lonely if you do it in isolation. But you are not alone. There are millions of people around the world right now, feeling exactly the same fear as you. They are facing the same challenges. Finding a community can change everything. It could be an online group, a local meetup, or just a group of friends who want to practice. When you see others struggling and succeeding, it normalizes your own experience. You realize that your fears are not unique. They are universal. Sharing your fears makes them smaller. Sharing your victories makes them bigger. Find your tribe. Find people who lift you up. Avoid people who make fun of your mistakes. You need a supportive environment to bloom. If you cannot find a group, create one. Start a small WhatsApp group with other learners. Be the leader you wish you had. Helping others is actually one of the fastest ways to build your own confidence because it puts you in a position of capability. I want to touch on the concept of global English. You might be obsessed with sounding like a native speaker from London or New York. But the reality is that most English conversations in the world happen between two non-native speakers. A business person from Japan talking to a tourist from Brazil. A scientist from Germany talking to a doctor from India. They use English as a bridge. This is called English as a lingua franca. In these conversations, nobody cares about the perfect British accent. They care about clarity. They care about connection. You are joining this global club. You are becoming a citizen of the world. Your accent is your passport stamp. It shows that you have traveled mentally and linguistically. Wear it with pride. You are not failing to be a native speaker. You are succeeding at being a global communicator. This shift in perspective takes the pressure off. You are not trying to pass a test. You are trying to participate in the world. Let's explore the idea of contentment versus complacency. You should be content with your level, but not complacent. Contentment means accepting where you are today without shame. I am B1 level, and that is okay. I can do a lot with B1. Complacency means I don't need to learn anymore. We want the balance. We want ambitious contentment. Be happy with today, but excited for tomorrow. Celebrate that you can order food, but be excited that next year you might be able to debate politics. This balance keeps you calm, but moving forward. If you hate your current level, you will speak with anxiety. If you accept your current level, you will speak with peace. And ironically, when you speak with peace, you improve faster because your brain is open to learning. I want to give you a strategy for the feedback loop. How do you know if you are getting better? Recording yourself is great, as we discussed, but also ask for feedback in a specific way. Do not ask, "Is my English good?" That is too vague. People will just say yes to be polite. Ask specific questions. Did I speak too fast? Was my explanation clear? Did I use that word correctly? When you ask specific questions, you get actionable advice. This gives you control over your learning. You become the captain of the ship. You are not just drifting, you are steering. And when you steer, you feel confident. Let's talk about the influence of consumption. What you put into your brain affects what comes out. If you read difficult academic books that you don't understand, you will feel stupid. If you watch movies without subtitles and get lost, you will feel hopeless. Choose input that makes you feel smart. Read graded readers, books written specifically for learners. Watch videos on topics you already know about. If you love cooking, watch cooking shows in English. You will understand the context, so you will understand the language. This creates a winning streak. When you understand 90% of what you hear, your brain releases dopamine. It feels good. You feel capable. You need to stack these wins. Confidence is built on a pile of small wins. Give yourself the gift of understanding. Now, consider the as-if principle. Act as if you are already confident. How would a confident version of you sit? How would they breathe? How would they walk into a room? Do those things now, even if you don't feel it inside yet. Your body sends signals to your brain. If you sit slumped over with your arms crossed, your brain thinks, "We are in danger." If you sit up straight with your chest open, your brain thinks, "We are in charge." You can hack your own psychology through your physiology. Before a meeting or a conversation, go to the bathroom and do a power pose. Stand like a superhero with your hands on your hips for 2 minutes. It sounds funny, but scientific studies suggest it lowers stress hormones. Try it. Be the actor in your own movie until the role becomes real. Let's talk about the joy of connection. Ultimately, why do we speak? To connect with another human soul. To share a laugh. To ask for help. To express love. To share an idea. This is the beautiful core of language. Fear separates us. Connection brings us together. When you feel fear rising, focus on the other person's humanity. They have fears too. They have bad days too. They are just a person. Connect with the person, not the language. If you focus on making them feel comfortable, you will forget to make yourself uncomfortable. Be the person who makes others feel good. Smile. Nod. Listen. Be kind. If you are the kindest person in the room, nobody will care about your grammar mistakes. They will just remember how you made them feel. As the poet Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel." Let that be your motto. I want you to think about legacy. If you are a parent, or if you have young people in your life, think about the example you are setting. Do you want them to see you hiding in fear? Or do you want them to see you trying, struggling, and succeeding? When you speak English with courage, you are teaching everyone around you that it is okay to be imperfect. You are teaching them that growth is more important than comfort. You are breaking the cycle of fear. Your bravery ripples out and touches others. Do it for yourself, but also do it for the people who are watching you. Be their inspiration. We are reaching the final moments of our time together. I want to lead you through a final, comprehensive visualization. I want you to close your eyes one last time. Trust me. Close them. Imagine you are standing in front of a door. This door represents your next opportunity to speak English. It could be a meeting room, a party, or a classroom. Notice how you feel. In the past, you might have felt scared. But today, you feel something different. You feel a quiet buzzing in your chest. That is excitement. That is readiness. You reach out and open the door. You walk in. Your head is held high. Your shoulders are relaxed. You see people. They turn to look at you. Instead of looking down, you smile. You make eye contact. You feel the ground solid beneath your feet. You take a deep breath into your belly. You feel calm. Someone asks you a question. You listen. You don't panic. You catch the keywords. You take a moment. You smile again. And then you speak. Your voice is clear. It is steady. You don't rush. You speak your truth. You make a small grammar mistake, and you just keep going. It doesn't matter. The person nods. They understand you. They smile back. You are connecting. You are flowing. You are speaking English not as a test, but as a tool. Feel the joy of that moment. Feel the lightness. Feel the pride. This version of you is real. It is not a fantasy. It is waiting for you. Every time you practice, every time you listen to a podcast, every time you brave the discomfort, you are stepping closer to this reality. Hold this image in your heart. This is your destination, and you are well on your way. Now, open your eyes. You are back in the room, but you are different. You have a toolkit now. You have a roadmap. You know that fear is just a biological reaction, not a stop sign. You know that mistakes are just data. You know that you are enough, exactly as you are. I want to leave you with one final challenge. In the next 24 hours, do one thing that scares you. Speak to one person. Write one comment. Record one voice note. Just one thing. Prove to yourself that the fear does not control you. Action is the only way to seal this knowledge. Do not just be a consumer of information. Be a creator of your own life. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this time with me. Thank you for trusting me with your English journey. It is an honor to be your guide. You are doing something difficult, and you are doing it with grace. Never forget how far you have come. If this masterclass has helped you, if you feel a shift in your spirit, please subscribe to English in Fluency. We are building a community of brave learners here, and we want you to be a part of it. Click the like button to seal your commitment to confidence. Share this video with a friend who needs to hear this. And please leave a comment below. Tell me, I am ready to be confident. Write it down. Make it real. I believe in you. I truly do. You have a voice. Use it. Speak up. The world is listening. I am Alex. This is English in Fluency. And I will see you, brave and confident, in the next lesson. Goodbye for now, and happy speaking.